Hey everyone, welcome to today's video. Welcome to the Gamey Daddy channel. Today we're going to be on our third episode of Steal This Build. Now, this is something that is really put together as an initiative for the community to share their build ideas, whether it be very powerful or whether it's just fun for you. We will be very happy to talk about your build if it's well put together, if it's coherent, and even if you have, some kind of maybe a fun clip to show about your build. Now, if you have any of that, you can place these in the Discord server for the Gamey Daddy channel and just message it to me or place it under the builds channel. And if I see it and I'm able to gather all of this, then I'll be able to put it together and, talk about it. Now, if I don't see your build, just remind me because I'm also really busy as well. But this is going to be where we're going to be discussing all these builds and you will be credited and showcased for actually putting this together. Now, today's build on the table is a build that's actually shared with me by a division agent here called Colonel Chicken Wing. Now, this build is a support build that is actually placed together to be able to grant the user overcharge on a whim in many different scenarios. So he sent me the screenshots of this build a while ago and I said, yeah, I'm going to deal with this. And this was actually like last month, but I haven't been able to come around to it. So what I did was I went into my stash and behold, I found pieces almost similar to his. Now he has a little bit of finessing going on there and I had to actually make some changes and I found the biggest strength of this build and the biggest weakness when I ran it. So we're going to jump into all of that and we're going to talk about it today. So what is this Colonel Chicken Wings support build about? Now I call him Colonel Chicken Wing, so that's his gamer tag. It's not like, we'll call the build the Colonel Chicken Wing build. I guess that's what we're going to do. We're using a Grupo Sombra mask here. And this mask is just to provide critical hit damage. This build is very specific and can go all kinds of fun different ways. The way I've built it and the way that I've got to run it, I used the Grupo Sombra mask just like he recommended. I used, I think, a Murakami backpack just as he recommended. But the talent is actually what I think is very important as well. So 20% is giving you 20% skill duration. You're also using Energize, which says using an armor kit grants you 1 skill tier for 15 seconds. If already at skill tier 6, it grants you Overcharge. It has a 1-minute cooldown, so beware of that if you get what I mean. And then the chest piece is using the Everyday Carrier chest piece, which is a Bellstone Armory named chest piece that has the talent Perfectly Efficient. This talent goes hand in hand with the talent on the backpack, if you get what I mean. The talent on the backpack is Energize, which allows for you to use an armor kit, and also the chest piece talent basically is the Perfect Efficient, which basically if you use an armor kit, it has a 75% chance not to consume that armor kit, which is really nice. So your armor kits are recycled as you're running this Overcharge based build. Now, for those of you who don't know, Overcharge is not just for you. Overcharge is where you get your skills to achieve the maximum potential that it can. If you look at this particular pulse, this build is based on the pulse skill. If you go from tier 6 to Overcharge, you more than double its effect duration. And basically it's a weakness exploit where you and your allies, your damage is amplified by 15% to pulse targets. So you're amplifying the damage for your entire team. If they're all using skill builds, if they're using weapon builds, whatever it is they're using, they will all be damaging enemies. Now, what my biggest issue was I didn't really understand that I needed to keep this pulse on the whole time. Regardless of what my team was doing, I needed to make sure that the enemies were pulsed at every step so that they can be doing that 15% amplified damage as the whole mission was going on. I ran this on the stream actually. It was a little weird for me to run because I'm not really used to this support paradigm. But for those of you who want to use Overcharge, this is something that you need to do. And now the star of the show, that is the BTSU data gloves. This is a named, this is an exotic that is actually from one of the named factions, the BTSU, and its job is to give overcharge. Now, its talent is called the Transference Overclock, which grants 15% hive skill haste per skill tier. Okay, do you hear that? You get that? So when your hive is actually at a higher skill tier, you're getting a faster, skill haste on that hive. And so detonating a hive refreshes your skill cooldowns and grants overcharge for 15 seconds if you're a skill tier 6. guess what? This effect also applies to all allies. Allies receiving this effect are enabled to benefit from it again for 120 seconds. So you can give overcharge to your allies using these gloves. And also, according to Colonel Chicken Wing, what you want to make sure you do is you have skill tier on all of your items. You can have skill damage, you can have skill haste. I think there's a little bit of freedom in the way that he's built it. You can also, and I would recommend using a Fox's Prayer knee pads that you're gonna throw a skill tier on. I know I was thinking to myself, what kind of build is this? I'm gonna be putting skill tier on a Fox's Prayer knee pads. But at the end of the day, I did it, and I thought, yes, I can see exactly where he's coming from, because you want your weapon to also have good damage. Now, skills. You use basically your hive booster is what Colonel Chicken Wing actually recommends. And I see why he used booster, because in the middle of the mission, I changed to a reviver hive. That was quite difficult, but it came in helpful for my team. And then I changed to, at one point, the restorer hive, which is also pretty decent. But I see why the booster comes in very handy. So you, as the person using that, you have to play with a team that's really savvy, and a team that you can basically improve them. And it also gives you some really, really cool it gives you some really cool I would say benefits regarding using it. And if you're using it in a legendary, it prevents bleed. If you have somebody that's using the backfire rifle, you can be the person that keeps them from not from not taking themselves out from bleeds and all. And overcharge really does make things really good if you're using perhaps maybe a something else as your secondary weapon. If you don't want to use the pulse, that's also fine, but look at the benefits of overcharge that you have here. And not only that, the benefits of overcharge that you're giving to your entire team. Now, other considerations would be the weapon. In his case, he used, and let's look at it here, he used a classic M1A with Future Perfect. Max rolled. I have not been able to get myself another classic M1A after I deleted some of the ones that I had, but you would have to maybe look into your stash and see if you have a max rolled one. You can roll Future Perfect on there. It will be something that will come in handy if you really wanted to go that way. And then another thing is Walker Harris as well that he used. In my case, I've not been able to pinpoint a good Walker Harris holster. I crafted one, but it wasn't satisfactory, and I just kind of said, well, I'm not getting a yellow so far, so that would be something that I would say you need to consider as well. Now, my own change for it was in the mission, I kind of started getting really antsy, and I switched my skill and started using Perfectly in Sync. I guess that's a crutch for me. I got to deal with that and just kind of learn how to use something along the lines of the Perfect Perpetuation, which headshots grants 50% status effect damage and duration to the next status effect you apply. So that pulse, being able to grant my entire team the extra damage buff that they can get when it's an overcharge, is what I need to focus on as a gamer myself. So this is one of the really interesting things about this build so far. And finally, we're going to talk about basically the specialization. If you notice, this is a skill build that's using the survivalist specialization. Now, why would he use the survivalist specialization? I didn't ask him, because survivalist is basically my favorite specialization, and I ought to know the answer to that question. And the answer is very simple. As a survivalist, you're able to grant your entire team a buff to enemies that have a status effect. So group members get 10% bonus damage to targets with status effects. And if you're using perhaps say the Jammer Pulse, that is a status effect that your group members can also benefit that that damage from if you're using that. So that is why I think he's using that as well. Now, perhaps maybe he also wants to be able to heal with his hive, to be able to gain some benefits with incoming repairs. But you as the agent will have to decide which of the hives you want to use for a build like this. Some people may even go Stinger. You never know. I mean, it's all left to you to take this, adopt it, and make it your own thing. For me, I like the survivalist specialization anyways, because I have this grenade. It's able to burn, it's able to apply more status effects if I get a good shot at it, and my teammates can now gain more damage as they're going through. So these are some of the highlights of this Colonel Chicken Wing support build with Overcharge all over the place, backpack and chest piece. You can run the card if you want for that, skill tier, if you're not going to run all 6 skill tiers, but you're already getting Overcharge from your gloves, you're getting Overcharge from your med kits, and if you have Future Perfect, which is what I would recommend on a rifle, or I eventually have to use an assault rifle, but if you have Future Perfect on a rifle, that's something that will also help you get Overcharge. So it's kind of a triple, stacked Overcharge paradigm that you can build with. And I hope this is something that is helpful for you. If you're looking to maybe use some of these pieces, here's an application for you. So, Mr. Colonel Chicken Wing, I appreciate you very much for sharing this build with the community. Thank you very much for putting it in, my purview. And that's it for me. If you enjoyed the video, let me hear your thoughts in the comment section. You can like, subscribe, you can do whatever you want to do. You can high five or whatever it is. And I'll see you guys hopefully in another video. Peace out.